Dr. Ben Agojo. He's a retired senior police officer. Nanaya Osei Dakwa is the founding president of the Green Republic. They are interested in reconciling man with nature by planting trees and greening everywhere. Jonathan Syme is a banker. And Benoni is joining us from the Gadget Solutions, is the CEO. Gentlemen, good morning. Good morning and happy Father's Day in advance to all of you.
Good morning.
Great. Good to hear you. How does it feel to know that Father's Day is approaching? Nanaya?
It feels great, and good morning to our listeners. It feels really great, and it comes with a lot of responsibility as well. So Father's Day approaching, it's a time for solemn reflections, and trying to see where we've done well, where we've fallen short, and how we can up our game as fathers.
You think that fathers are very well celebrated?
Not at all, but that's what we got. We just have to be happy. We are providers. I said that fathers are gods. We are like God. Whether you praise us or not, we'll continue to do what we know doing best.
Right.
So we will take it like that. We are not celebrated at all, considering the kind of role we play. Within the space.
Right.
But it's all good. Maybe with time we'll be appreciated more.
With time, Jonah, what do you think? Father's Day is approaching. What's the feeling, the mood?
Good morning to everyone. For me, I'm excited because yesterday my children brought me Father's Day cards already from school, which they made
ahead of the midterm, and then also Father's Day.
Yes,
fantastic.
Yes. So it's exciting for me. It's fulfilling being a father. The fact that I look forward to honestly getting home after a long day, because when I get home, they run towards me and give me a hug, and it's the best feeling in the world.
You look forward to it?
Yes, I look forward to it every day. So when I'm driving home, I try to make sure I get home before they sleep. So when I get home, that feeling is quite fulfilling, I must say. I love it. Yeah.
Benoni, what about you?
Good morning to our listeners. Father's Day for me, I think it's one of the best things, but we don't get celebrated enough and we don't get the recognition we need.
I see.
But being a father, for me, I think it's the best feeling, because going home, I think during the week, my daughter has been asking me, Daddy, when Sunday is Father's Day, Sunday is Father's Day, Sunday is Father's Day. So I feel that alone gives me the energy to get going, to be a better and a good father.
Great. Now, let's begin, and maybe to set the record straight, you have how many children, Anna?
3.
3. Jonah, you have 2 daughters. Henry is your in-law. And then you have 2. Okay. We're trying to raise ACP on the phone line so we can mention. But as I mentioned earlier, these are fathers from different generations. Let's look at the role of fathers. If we say somebody is a father or a dad, as we say these days, who can we say is a dad?
Yeah, a dad is a provider, in simple terms. I think that men were made in the image of God, and even in our Lord's Prayer, our Father, who art in heaven. So we represent God, on earth, and we're supposed to care, we're supposed to provide, we're supposed to be vision bearers of our families, we're supposed to be examples, to our kids, and to shape generations. So to be a father is like playing the role of God on earth. And like I said earlier, whether you're celebrated or not, you have a core mandate, to love your wife, to love your kids, and to ensure that you helping raise the next generation of people. And so what we do as fathers, really, really important. The kind of life we live, the attention we give to our families, extremely crucial, because we're breeding, kids. I have three kids.
That's right.
Himaya Santua Dakwa, Nanaya Ose Dakwa Junior, and Enobi Krama Dakwa.
So two ladies and one gentleman.
Exactly. So what am I teaching them with my role in the home? You would think that they're not looking at you, but they're watching every move.
That's right.
And so I try to show leadership. I try, especially with a boy, because he's also going to grow one day and settle with a woman. So how am I relating with the mother? What does he see? Does he see me yelling at the mother or beating the mother kind of maltreating the mother. We need to be conscious about these things within our homes. And so, as a father, we're supposed to be examples. So we have a very, very challenging role, because as we play this entire role, who also pampers us, or our wives are supposed to do that. They do, but for men,
who entertains the entertainer?
Absolutely, and it's for me, it's exciting. It's very, very exciting. So what I tell myself is, I go to God every morning and in the evening to thank Him, to ask for new things in the coming day, to ask for life and all that. At the end of the day, we recognize the sovereignty of our God, and then in our homes, we are supposed to be looked at in providing. Am I providing for my kids, even if I do not have? How am I partnering with my wife to be able to deliver? You said that you pay school fees or buy something, and then
they think it's from the mother.
But I have found a way of doing that without the kids necessarily thinking that it's the mother, because my wife also helps in that direction. Even if I give her money to give to the kids, she would always end up telling them, okay, that your dad gave me this money for you. All right. So I remember this Sunday we went to church, and a friend, my little girl, was wearing a very beautiful dress. And then one of my friends asked, "Oh, your dress is very nice. Who bought it for you?" And she told Vida that it's Nana. She calls me Nana. She doesn't call me Daddy. And he says it's Nana. Then Vida said, No, it's Mommy. He said, no, it's Nana.
It's Nana. Don't change my mind. I know what I know.
Exactly, because I've built a certain relationship with that little girl. You know, so she really appreciates me as a father, and so it's a serious thing. We need to, accept that challenge that we have a crucial role to play in molding people, in giving them hope for the future, because our dream, the vision we have for their future, is what is going to play out at the end of the day and shape them for the future.
Let's welcome ACP Dr. Ben Agojo on the line. Good morning, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Johnny.
Great.
And my regards to all the panelists in the studio.
Great. Happy Father's Day in advance to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, and same to all the colleagues out there.
Great.
And you yourself.
Thank you, sir. The father role, I mean, you are a father beyond 60. And so you have seen it done, it's been there, and now you are teaching us. What or who would you say a father is, from what you said?
Practically speaking, a father is the figure, in that male figure in the family, who takes responsibility, who stands out tall when there are challenges, and when there are joyful moments, he's with them, and takes care of not only children, but also early adults. These days, we are not talking about children because our children are with us beyond 18, sometimes 25, sometimes 30. And so we are talking not only about being there for children, but we are also there for our children up to their early adulthood. So that is what I would say our children is a father. But let me quickly address something that you asked.
Right.
Our colleagues out there, whether we are celebrated enough.
That's right.
Maybe I will say that today, looking back, I don't think we should be talking about celebration that early.
I see.
The celebration I see and I know is the fulfillment that comes with doing your best for the children, see them grow up, and taking responsibility like you, and being out there doing their work. And that is the fulfillment, and that is the celebration that I see. Definitely, if you are looking for celebration in this early, some of them are very. You may not get it. You may not get it. But you may even get it through your own conscious ways of looking at things. But the real celebration is when you have done your best for each of them. They have grown out there, and they are potentialized, and they are on their own, doing their own things, and you look back and you are happy as a father. And that is where the celebration is. And then on a day like this, some of them will begin to book appointments with you. Dad, I want to take you out there. Dad, are you home this weekend? How do we meet you this weekend? That is the real celebration.
At what point does the role of fatherhood, if you like, soften or end? Because the gentlemen I have in studio, they can take care of themselves and they are taking care of other people. In fact, now they are attending PTA meetings. So you, at age 60 and beyond, you have stopped attending those PTA meetings. At what point does it stop? So you have a son who is 45. Do you stop fathering that son, or do you now co-father with him?
Fatherhood is a lifelong business. It's a lifelong business. It has no end. I just told you about how I communicate with them. Sometimes they call you to give guidance. It doesn't end. It's a lifelong thing. From child, the roles may change with time. When they are young, the roles are different. When they are in SS, when they are in JSS, when they are in SS, when they are at the university, the roles may vary. And when they are out there working, the roles still vary. But you see, depending on the relationship you cultivated with them when they were with you, depending on the bonding, you will see that it continues. Look, I have some of my sons out there. They know what to do. But even when they have taken the decision, they still want to talk to their dad, whether they really took the right decision. And maybe I just also give them certain options and they say, okay, Dad, I think I've considered all this and I think I'll go in for this. It's a lifelong thing. It doesn't end until you die.
Jonah, what do you think?
For me, to be a father
Microphone, please. Use the microphone. Use the microphone.
Hi, yes, hi. To be a father to me means to be a provider, a mentor, and a protector.
Okay. Are you saying protector because you have girls? 2 girls?
No, protector in the whole sense. Because I remember quite recently, I don't know how a snake found its way into my compound.
Right.
And all they did was they started shouting my name.
Daddy,
I'm like, Charlie,
Daddy.
It's like I'm the only one here. And I had to come out. I saw the snake. I looked at it. I said, snake.
The snake looked at you
And
too.
it looked at me. I was scared. But I had to show leadership.
Okay.
And I had to, do justice to the snake. So being a father is, I would say it's a calling. And it's something which must be taken very seriously. Because I remember when I was in the father, I used to really like to drive on top speed. So I could do from Tamale to Accra, let's say in 7-8 hours. Because I'm going like 160, 180 and all that. But now, when I step on my accelerator and it starts going a certain level, I'm like, I can't be careless and die at this time. Because there are others looking up to you.
Right.
And for me, I have daughters. And when, in fact, I remember the very first day we did a scan and we noticed it was a girl. I wouldn't say I was terrified. I was concerned. Because having a daughter for me, or having daughters is a whole responsibility. It's not just about having a child. Raising a boy, for me, it would have been tough love. Like that kind of thing where, Charlie, you need to fend for yourself, you need to show the person how to fight and all that. But in this case, I have girls, and it's like, you need to be that man they look up to, and that man the yardstick for everything. They must compare everybody else to.
Right. Because
they're going to grow up, they're going to have husbands, they're going to have boyfriends. You want to make sure you are the yardstick for everything. And the way you treat your mother will determine that yardstick. So I'm making sure, even no matter what happens at home, I'm not raising my voice. I'm being careful not to say
so that
things.
they know that they have to be treated right.
Exactly.
Okay, so if they were treated right at home,
yes,
and they get married, or they
yes,
start seeing somebody,
exactly,
they know what the standards should
exactly,
be, and not to take anything just
exactly.
like that. Okay.
So I'm really trying hard to set that standard, to make sure they have a certain standard in their minds where it's not okay for them to see me slapping their mother. It's not okay for them to see me maltreating their mother. I'm really trying hard, and it's quite difficult because it's like I think I've become a softie to them in the sense that sometimes I get home, they ask their mother for something, mommy says no, and because they know I'm too soft, they come to me, and then I'm like, did you ask mommy?
They corner you.
They corner me, and I'm like, did you ask mommy? So I'm forced to carry them, walk with them to their mother and say, but they're asking for this. What did you tell them? And she says it's a no. I said, please.
Mommy says no.
Because I'm the father, I'm trying to be tough, but I'm also trying as much as possible not to be too tough to the extent where you drive them away. Because I remember growing up, I mean, my father has been lovely. He's raised, we're 3 boys. We have other cousins because my uncle died quite young, and he took there were 7 of us, yes.
And brought them under his
yes, and growing up, he's not, he raised us well. Looking at it back now, he will say he was tough then, but looking at it back now, some of it
has helped you,
kind of shaped us. You get, but you don't get to appreciate it at that age. You appreciate it later. Right. And as ladies or as raising girls, you need to be careful that before they appreciate it, you don't want them to make those mistakes that would bring teenage pregnancies and all those things. So it's like, whilst I'm trying to be tough on them, you also have to be at a point where they can come to you when
a carrot and a stick approach.
Yes, that kind of thing.
Benoni, let's talk about challenges. I mean, you are the youngest father in all of this mix. Yes. Let's talk about challenges. What have you seen and faced so that ACP can bring some experience from the 60 column to help you?
The challenges have been very, very tough because being a young father, sometimes you have to balance life and then being a father as well, because you are still learning, and then you're also trying to be a father to someone. So it's been really, really tough, because sometimes I come home from work and then my kids will come to me with homework. Maybe I'm so tired, I'm so stressed. I have to be there. I have to get time for them. So I have to help them with homework. And sometimes...
And I say that some of those homeworks, they actually set up. The teachers set us up because the homework is not for the kids.
Yes.
It's actually for us to test if we know book.
Yes, so much. Because the last time my daughter came with a math homework and I wasn't understanding, I was like, hey,
what's going on?
Is this work there? So I called the teacher and she said I should leave it to the girl. She can be able to do it. I was like, okay. And I called her, Drusi, come and do your homework. And she said, oh, it's easy. And then she did it. I was like, so it's just simple. And then so I called the teacher back and I was asking her, this work, I don't understand your
formula and everything.
And then your books. And she said, oh, it's a new textbook and then the new things they are just implementing. But the challenge is something we are learning each and every day, because as we are growing, we went through certain things and then we thought maybe our fathers or our mothers were being tough on us and just telling us, don't do this, don't do that. But at the end of the day, being a father, I think is best. Looking back, I think what my mom and
when the children are left for you alone, the challenge of taking care of the children all alone, on your own, daddy and the girls or daddy and the boys.
The shouting doesn't stop. Because hey, stop it, sit down, hey, I'll beat you. At the end of the day, if you leave your phone, they will take it. They have their tablets, but still they want to take your phone and play with. And at the end of the day, you start shouting. If they want to use the washroom, they'll come to you. Everything they'll do, daddy, everything. I don't know. You don't get enough rest on your own unless they are asleep. If they are asleep, you can be able to sleep. But if they are not, they'll come to you. Whether you are sleeping, whether you are healthy, you are sick, you are not on your own, because you have to make time for them first.
Right.
At the end of the day, they don't mind whether you have money or not. Especially my son, when you are working out, anything he sees, he'll buy. He'll just go into the shop and then just pick it up and then.
Daddy has money.
Yes.
That's his mindset.
Yes.
Whether you have or you don't have, you have.
You have. If he picks it up, he'll just stand himself and then be walking. So you have to pay. Whether you have money or you don't, he doesn't care.
I see.
So most of the times when I'm working with him, I have to pick a cane. I won't buy. No, this is not good. They're shouting and then they're complaining. The elderly person will come. Daddy, this baby needed this. The son will come. Arana did this. So it's always complaints, talking. At the end of the day, I always want to leave home and just leave them. So sometimes I just leave them for my mom. And then if I move next 10 minutes, come for the kids. They are making me talk. I can't sleep. I have to do this.
I see.
So I think the challenge is it's something we learn.
Right.
And when we grow into it, it just feels like it's just normal thing we live with.
Now, before we go to ACP, maybe in a minute, you also tell us some of the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call, but we have what it takes to stand up to it. And so the challenges, like my brother was saying, like complaints. my little girl, comes to me almost every 2 minutes. And then he comes with a certain demeanor, that I know that something happened. He won't say that he just come and stand and, then I say, what is it? It's Genia, Genia pinched me. Then okay, go and call Genia for me. Genia comes, Genia says, oh, no, I've not done anything to her. I say, but why are you doing that? She just takes delight in just reporting their siblings and coming to me as a judge, and then I say, don't do that again, and then she's happy and she leaves. So it's like you are in a theater. It's you enjoy
every day is drama,
and for me I enjoy it. Somehow it allows me to appreciate them and also to correct them. Sometimes I tell you, look, I think you lied on Genia this time. You don't have to do that again. God does not like lies. You go to church, you always have to tell me the truth. So in our role, like I said earlier, we are molding people, and that is the beautiful side of it. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish my dad, because we complain that we're not being celebrated, but I've even forgotten to say
to wish
to
all our daddies
happy Father's Day to all daddies, to my father, Mr. Kingsley Osafo Dakwa. Like my brother said, he was a tough guy. When we're
Jonah
growing
doesn't feel sending birthday messages for his dad every year. Every year, I tell you, every year. Sometimes 2 days ahead of the day. He sends the message.
Tough guy. I remember growing up in the Teshinunga area. When we playing football, for instance, I used to play football, and they want you out of the game. For somebody else to come, somebody will scream at the back.
Oh, Papa Mbaye.
I wouldn't look nowhere. I'll just run, and go home. Because, it was tough, but like he said, we are now appreciating, the kind of leadership he gave us. But our times are different, unlike theirs. They were the fathers of those times. But we need to also alter our ways a bit.
Let me bring Doc in.
Doc,
these challenges, you have lived through them. How do you propose, or what do you propose that new parents or new fathers do in terms of confronting these challenges and having a certain roadmap to fix them even before they come up?
Yes, let me first of all say that fatherhood has become very dynamic these days, and especially as society grows and changes. Your style of fatherhood or being a father largely is a reflection of how you yourself was brought up. Most of the times, if you've been brought up in a very liberal home, you are likely to adopt that liberal approach to your children. And when you are brought up like me, in a very typically traditional and disciplined home, then you see the biblical approach begins to take charge. And so, you see, the challenge is, for me, you begin to realize that as you grow, you have generations of children. I have 5 children, and I can see a lot of generations. The first one, the way I brought him up, is different from the way I brought particularly the first and second up, is different from the way I brought the third and the fourth up, and then also different from the way I brought the last one up. Because you see, as things begin to change alongside, my approach also began to change from being that hard father to a very liberal father. So that the other one, the eldest one, will say, Dad, I'm surprised you allowed this. He will say, I'm surprised you allowed it. Because I never knew you could allow it. Then I will tell him, see, things are changing and we are all learning. These are practical challenges that we face as dads. You cannot be the same dad from the time you started having children to the last. Because things will change along the line. Difficulties may come up, and then you begin to change your style a bit. Maybe you were too liberal, then you begin to put in place some principles and some disciplinary measures and see that, no, things are going wayward. And then these days when I go to church and I see children running around when the pastor is preaching and other things, then I begin to look back and wonder, my children never did that. Not because I beat them, but from the beginning, I will not allow you to move out.
That stern look.
That once I look at you, you will come back.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And then, so the approach is different. Maybe it's also informed by my career.
Right.
A lot of things I did not do, and my children could not have access to. Today, when my children were growing, for instance, there was TV and they would not watch.
Right.
Because from the beginning, there were certain things I was not allowing them to watch. I said, look, if it's news time, I bring you all together. We listen to the news. After the news, go for your books. You are in your rooms and whatever. When we were even in a hall and chamber, I make sure that if they were only two, they would go to the main bedroom and have their tables and learn. But you see, because of that today, they are not interested in TVs too much unless there's a specific program they want to watch.
Right.
So these are some of the challenges you must change along the line. And sometimes our fathers will want to hold on to the same thing, the same style. And holding on to the same style may bring a lot of challenges to some of them.
Right.
And you must also be so principled. So there are certain values they are learning. Fine, we are role models to them, both the girls and the boys. And whatever they exhibit out there is a reflection of the fatherhood ideals that you put in place in them, sometimes vicariously. And therefore, I go to a school and then the teacher tells me, your daughter did this, and I was surprised. And I said, well, I'm not surprised because that is how my children are. I could see certain traits of me in my children, in fact, almost all my children. When they say it is no, it is no. When it is yes, it is yes. And so these are some of the values we must inculcate. Directly or indirectly, we are inculcating values. So the challenge mainly is how to change along the line, how to modify your approach with the times. With the times. You are in your 30s, you are in your 20s, you have a child. When you are in your 30s and 40s, things have changed. Economic situations have changed. The way he's been picking things, the younger ones, he'll be asking you, Daddy, but why are you not allowing this one? Things have changed. Therefore, your approach must also change.
Absolutely.
And last one, maybe. You see, sometimes, particularly when you have a child who is not traditionally part of the family, maybe you had him before you married or something.
Right.
One of the challenges you must always look out for is when you get home. Before you eat, you want to find out from all the children whether they have eaten.
Okay.
The young ones may not understand what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
But you want to find out if a father will not just come home and settle and eat and then get up and enter the room. No. A father will want to talk to all the children, find out whether they've eaten, whether they are okay, is there anything you could do, and then after that, you eat your food, satisfy that everybody is fine. And these are some of the dynamics that we must always be looking for, and which are also challenges that we see.
I see. Doc, thank you. Now, Jonah, let me start this second layer of conversation with you. The money palaver. The money palaver. Fathers are providers. It will drink into your pocket. Somebody says, so when you have money as a father, it is money for the family. When your wife has money, it is money for her. You understand? What is the money palaver relative to fatherhood?
Basically, you see, let me commend women nowadays, because even as much as you're a provider as a man, I must say that women are doing a lot these days to assist men in providing.
Right.
So as much as it's like you don't expect a 50-50 contribution from your wife, they will definitely also come and say, oh, if something is, let's say, 10,000, oh, I have this one. At least something has come. So I've come to accept that being a father, I don't think fathers are loved unconditionally. I mean, this is some way they'll come after me.
But it's a slippery comment.
Yes, it's a
but
slippery
you make
comment.
it anyway.
But I will say it: fathers or men are not loved unconditionally. A cat can be loved for being cute. A baby can be loved for being beautiful and being a baby. A woman can be loved for being just pretty. But as a man, if you can't provide, Charlie, you are like something. In fact, you are as handsome as your pocket as a man. Because, I mean, somebody said, a musician said, handsome day your pockets. If your pocket is not handsome, your face, you can be as fine as what? Your face is horror. Because, I mean, you must be able to provide. It's as simple as that. Right. And as men, for me, I feel very responsible. When I see my children looking all beautiful and somebody says, your children are looking nice, so there's pride in it.
That's your appreciation.
Yes,
as ACP said.
Yes.
You do the work, and that's your appreciation.
Exactly. When somebody sees your wife and says, your wife looks beautiful, her car is nice, so, I mean, that's the pride. That's where the fulfillment comes in. And so as a man, Charlie, you're as good as what you can provide.
Benoni, what do you say? The money conversation.
The money conversation. It's a tough one, but everything comes back to, if you're a father, I don't know, they feel like my big brother said, men are providers, and we are like a small god to the family. So everything, they will come to you. Even our kids, they always look up to us because they know daddy will give me. Daddy will give me. They know daddy has it. And like I said earlier on, my son, when you're working with him, anything he sees, he will buy. You won't ask whether he have money. So all the shops in my area, if I'm working with him and he gets there, they'll tell him today won't sell for you. Because they know he will just go into the shop, he will just pick it. When he picks it, he will just open it. So you are forcefully forced to buy it. You pay. And then, I don't know, our wives, they are trying, like my big brother said. You tell them, and they are also understanding the economy and then the situation we are all going through now. So they are balancing with us because you give them some money, manage it, take care of the house. They will try their best. Unlike before, if you give money, they will call you. The money you gave me, it wasn't enough. So you have to add up. So I think money aspect now, it's the father's duty. We take pride in just seeing our kids being looking handsome and beautiful, and then like they don't have any problem with anything. So I think that is the one of the best things being a father. But if you don't have money, you are not as handsome as you think.
So you are as handsome as your pocket.
As your pocket.
And if you don't have money, you are not as handsome as you think.
Yes. Because if you don't have money, you are just horror.
Horror face cry.
Nana, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I share the views of my colleagues, and the good book says, money answereth all things, and money is defense.
Right.
So our defense is money, and as men and as providers, just as we go to the Lord and ask for His favors, and every day we are asking God for something, it reflects in our homes. Like I said, we are gods. So everybody else looks up to us, and whether we have it or not, we need to find a way to make it happen.
Right.
Okay. And so it's beautiful. I mean, it's nice to provide.
Doesn't that put pressure on the men?
It puts a lot of pressure, but again, the pressure for me is good, because then you need to be more creative. You need to do more, to be able to take care. I mean, for instance, I'm a blessed man.
Right.
My wife is a very good person. She supports me to the core, and but that does not make me, relax.
Right.
Because for me, it is my role. I mean, whatever she does is to complement, what I do. But I do not think that my wife's money is my money. I don't want to even think along those lines. If she wants to support, it's welcome.
Right.
But I try to program myself that I need to take care of my family. I need, whichever way we have to survive. And so it makes you creative. You want to try this, you want to do this, go outside your normal job situations to do things.
Right.
That would also, bring in some, little money to be able to deal with, all the monetary challenges that we face, and also to save for the future. And so, for instance, in my home, I teach my kids how to save. So myself, I have a box there, and I put in money. I did not talk to them about that in the beginning, but over time, they come and say, "Oh, no, I have this. Put it in the box." I say, "No, I'll buy you one. Do it yourself."
Right.
So unconsciously, I'm trying to program them to also appreciate the key role money plays in our lives.
Right.
And they've gotten used to it. And so money is defense.
Jonah can help you open accounts for them. I can tell you. Doc, let me come to you. Money, pressure, fatherhood. What would you tell us from where you sit at the top?
A very interesting one. As fathers, we must not just look at our current situation or present situation. We must always appreciate the fact that difficult times will always be there. I mean, when you are going to marry, you have the means. That's why you are marrying. Maybe these days you are doing your wedding. But beyond the wedding and everything, so you must have a plan. You must have a vision. And that vision must be shared with your wife directly or indirectly. And therefore, when difficult moments come, she will understand. But one important thing I would like to say is that take responsibility financially and everything.
Right.
But make room also for the woman to play her role, so that she will know that she also has a responsibility. Because if you behave like a macho and you have everything, and then you are many years ahead, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ahead, when there are difficult moments, it is difficult for her to adjust and adapt to the new situation of that role, to change her role to do what she's supposed to do. And therefore, one of the things I would advise strongly is that whatever situation you find yourself, add value. Help your wife to add value to herself.
Right.
Whether it's in trade, whether it's in going to school, so that when difficult moments come, she'll be able to play the role. And my example, for 5 years I was not working.
Right.
But my wife took over responsibility.
I see.
That is the point, because then we married. Let me just say this. We married when I was a constable of police.
Wow.
And she had just finished training school, and then we began. Today she has double masters. I have a PhD. So as I was moving this up, she was also moving up.
That's great.
And therefore, it's not always about the fiscal money, but it's about the where you place you assist her to reach, so that she would really fit into the role when you are not there.
I see. Thank
you.
So
finances go beyond the physical thing of making direct provision or buying this or that. And it's important for us to address that issue.
Doc, the pressure that it puts on fathers. These days you see a lot of young fathers, they either have BP or they are thinking too much. They are absent-minded, sometimes at work, and you ask yourself what's going on and say, Charlie, I've just received a text from the school. It says, dear parent. And you want to be... How do you manage the pressure?
Cut your coat according to your size. You have 2 children. You have 3 children. Will you afford that all of them go to Morning Star? Is it because others are going? There are equally good schools in the locality. And then you can complement that effort. Maybe if you are lucky like me and your wife is a teacher, she could help. And I'm also a teacher. So right from the beginning, I was helping my children. Cut your coat according to your size. Don't, you see, some of these things, we allow them on ourselves. But most of the times, the pressure does not come from your children's school fees and all. They come from your wife's parents or your own parents. The expectations are so much. And therefore, cut your coat, draw the line. There are things you cannot do. Close that door at a point in time. Let them know that, look, at this point, I can't do anything about it, except when it's so crucial. And then when you have otherwise, if you want to take every responsibility from your children, as for your children, definitely you have to do that. From your parents, from the family, the large family, what will happen is that they will all pull you down and you cannot develop yourself, let alone helping them. So these pressures come up because we do not let them see who we are in reality. We pretend a lot as though once you are a police officer, you have everything, you can do anything. No.
Right.
You are an accountant or you are an accounts officer, you have money. The way you live also tells a lot about the pressure that comes to you. If you cannot buy a car, why would you want to go and load money and buy a car and then all your monies you are left with only 500 Ghana cedis in your account at the end of the month? So please cut your coat according to. Don't allow the pressure. I bought my first car as an ASP when I knew that inspectors had bought cars. And I only bought my car when I had traveled to go and do my master's outside. When I came back, then I bought my car. That was when I could buy a car. And what I did was that there were times that when I was ASP, I would hang my uniform in the office and wear mufti through trousers and go to the office.
3FM.
Who is going to arrest me? I don't want to put any pressure on myself. by going for a loan which I cannot afford. So sometimes I've just said, please cut your coat according to your size as a father.
So from
what you cannot do, let the children know this one we cannot do. If we cannot afford this school, let them know that, look, this is where I can afford. Be here, you can still make it wherever you are.
So from constable to lance corporal to sergeant to inspector to chief inspector to ASP before you bought your first car?
I'm telling you.
Wow. Okay.
Before I bought my first car. And you know, one of the things you must also know, when you allow these pressures on you, you do what you should not do. You do what you should not do. And I must also add that, of course, I didn't go through all the regimen of from Lance Corporal.
Right.
I ended up being a sergeant.
Right.
And then from sergeant to chief inspector and other things.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
But
okay.
It took at least almost 10 years.
I see. Okay, Jonah, how should fathers manage their pressure? Pressure, not financial pressure, general pressure, father pressure.
You see,
the meter goes off. It's father's job. Water is not flowing. It's father's job. They go to school. It's raining. It's father's. That pressure. How do you manage it,
Johnny?
Yes, sir.
When you say pressure, it's not financial pressure. 95% or 99%.
You want to disagree with me?
It's money pressure. You understand? I mean, school uniform. So for me, I'm just there. Then maybe the nanny sends a text message. This and this is finished. Or my wife sends a message. This when you're coming. This. There's a list. They didn't add money.
Yes.
You understand?
Right.
I made a joke last time on Facebook that my wife sent me to go and buy tomato. She didn't give me money, and they send you all the time. They don't give you money. You understand? So, it's as ACP said, you must definitely cut your coat according to your size. As somebody who works in a bank, I've seen situations where people take so many loans that they look at the payslip and there's nothing left.
Right.
And so you must, as a man, always make sure you cut your coat according to your size, as he said. Don't take your children to schools where you can't afford.
Okay.
I remember when I take my first daughter to school, I went to a certain school, and the fee was $1,000 per term.
Right.
I looked, and at that time, I think it was about 5 CDs. I looked and said, Charlie, I can't be here.
I can't be here.
And I moved away. Imagine I tried.
You
And it
be
was $1,000.
suffocating.
Now I'll be paying $15,000 per child.
50, yes.
And I can't afford it. So it's even good at that time. I didn't even try. So you must always make sure you are cutting, making sure. I mean, and you must also sometimes just take a step back and look at things well. For example, they are selling a certain car. Last time somebody was selling a Tundra for about 100,000.
Right.
Then you say, I have 100,000, I'm going to buy it. That's a V8 engine.
Right.
That's 5.7 liter engine.
How do you manage it?
How do you manage it? So the very fact they have 100,000 to buy that car does not mean go and buy it. Because after you've bought it, there's fuel to buy.
That's right.
And so you
There's
must...
maintenance to do.
There's maintenance to do. And at the end of the day, in a year, you spend more than 100,000 you spend buying it. Because maybe the person needed money and just wanted to put it off.
Right.
So you must always make sure you balance things, you think through. And honestly, sometimes listen to your wives. And listen to the women in your life. Because sometimes you disagree with them. But sometimes after a while, you look at the thing and say, Charlie, the thing you said...
makes sense,
It makes sense.
pal.
So, and honestly, I don't like to go and mess up, finish, and you come in...
I told you so.
The I told you so conversation or statement is a killer.
Right.
So you come back, they told you so, you didn't mind, then you go do, then the thing backfire. Then you come, then you do gonyo hard because you do gonyo.
Hard guy, but inside you know say you lose.
If you don't do gonyo, they'll give you I told you so. So you do gonyo. The look she'll give you is I told you so look, but you do gonyo, she can't tell you I told you so. And you take pass inside.
Fast. Benoni, children, fatherhood, and technology. There's technology now. A lot of technology.
Yeah.
Gadgets are flying around. You sell a lot of gadgets.
Yeah.
Fatherhood and gadgets, or fatherhood and technology. Let me put it that way. What would you say?
I think it's better to help our kids with technology as the world is growing now, as the world is growing with technology now. Because if you have a child, maybe like my 7-year-old daughter, she has a phone. I've given her a phone. If not for school, she would have called me so many times. Daddy, where are you? Daddy, what time are you coming? Daddy, when you're coming, buy me this. She will call me. So I think it's better because when there's an emergency at home and they need help, and maybe they don't have the immediate help they need, and they have like the phone, she can call you and then let you know, oh, Dad, maybe mom is not around, grandma is not around, so this and this is what's happening. So I think it's better to help.
But how do you monitor, manage what they use the phone for,
yes.
where they go, you know, and how that impacts their childhood.
Oh, okay. With me, I think my daughter's phone, I've blocked certain sites she can operate, and then she doesn't have those social media apps on her phone, because it's just call and then pre-installed educational books and then all that on her phone, and for her to learn, and then games for her to learn, and then besides that, I just call. So I have a time. I give her phone to her after school on Friday.
Okay.
I think 5. So and I take it on Sunday at 5 p.m. So that is how I manage. And then with television, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday, they can operate it on their own. But on weekdays, after school, they just watch it from 4 to 6, and then I turn it off.
Right.
So they have to read, and then they go to bed at 8 o'clock. So I think with technology now, we have to help our kids to understand where the world is moving to. Because our time will be fading away soon, and then they will be the ones to take over the technology or over the world.
So technology is good, but you need to manage so that it doesn't affect
so
them
that they
adversely.
don't overuse or just misuse or abuse it. So it doesn't affect their education and then their life. Because technology now is just this. If you go to TikTok now most of the things are explicit. So it's just, it wouldn't help them in their education wise. So you just have to shape them and then give them a good start. So at the end of the day, by the time they get to adulthood or teenage age, they know what technology is about and how to manage and how to use it.
Right. Nana, technology and raising your children as a father.
It's a big challenge, but we have to make do with it, because it's a new era. The world is going, you know, tech, and we cannot raise our kids without it. Somehow they need to be able to play with these gadgets to understand, you know, how things work with the gadgets and all that. I mean, as a father, I'm even challenged, you know, with technology. I mean, the things my kids can do with the phone. I have the phone, but do not even know these things are, you know, apps are on it and all that. So, like my brother said, we need to guide them as to the use, you know, because it's their time, it's their world. You know, we wouldn't understand it, and so we'll condemn and say, no, it's not good, you know, and all that. We need to guide them. That's the most important thing, for them to appreciate that, yes, there's time for everything. That's what I tell my kids. You know, I try not to be too controlling. You know, I'm a very liberal person, but I guide, and then I try to let people appreciate that they have a responsibility towards themselves, you know, and what they want to do with their lives. And so I'll guide you, but I also try to let you take certain decisions, even though you're very young. I want you to appreciate that you decide what is good for you, but I'm guiding you. And one of the
placing the options before them and then guiding.
If you take this path, this is where it leads
the repercussions.
to. If you do this, this is where it leads to. And I think one critical thing that we also need to do as fathers is to be able to introduce our kids, you know, to the Almighty God. You know, to know God at an early age, so that they can really appreciate, you know, the differences between good and bad. I mean, when I was growing up, my dad, during our childhood, was not going to church, but you cannot stay home on Sundays, even though he is not going. You have to go to church. You can't even stay home on Sunday. But now I appreciate why he did that, and today, you know, he does not miss church every Sunday.
I see.
You know, so we show them the way of the Lord, and then also guide them. But let's not determine who they should be. Everybody has their own innate, you know, stuff. Let's guide them and let them make their own choices.
Great. Jonah, quickly, and then we can go to ACP and hear his thoughts on that as well.
On technology, see, there are ways you can always control what your children see. For example, you have Family Link for Google. So for my children have tablets, I have Family Link on my phone. Anything they do, I can see from wherever I sit. So when they want to install a certain app, I get a pop-up on my phone. I decline or I allow, depending on what it is. And my children watch YouTube Kids. I mean, I like the fact that they've learned a lot of vocabulary from, because sometimes they use a certain word and it's like, hey, where did they learn that one from? And it's YouTube Kids. But I also noticed that that some of the channels on YouTube Kids, they always have a way of trying to inculcate something, especially with this LGBT thing.
LGBTQIA plus of GPRTU or
Funny enough,
TUC.
Peppa Pig, my children love it. But
it's
I
true.
started noticing that they started putting in LGBT things instead. They're trying to. I mean, I'm like, why?
What I do is I preview everything Obrimpo and Osabrema watches. I preview it before they watch.
Yes.
If there are any elements of it, thankfully I work in a media house. We have an editing suite, so I download it, I bring it, I chop those parts off, I put the pieces together. What I think is good for them. Yes, but you have to do it.
Yeah. But now if they are streaming online, like my brother is saying, it pops up as an advert, maybe for like 3 seconds, and then you.
So I've started blocking some channels.
So
I look in and I block those channels. So now Peppa Pig is blocked on my children's channel. I go in there because you're not careful.
Yeah, because Peppa Pig I also experienced that, so I had to block it.
You're trying to teach them, you're trying to let them learn and all that, use technology, understand things, and they are trying to educate your children. Miseducate them, and it's not the way to go.
SCP, so my uncle will say those of you above 60 were born before technology. BBC, that's what they call you. I know that you hold a PhD, but what are your views about raising your children, fatherhood, and technology? You had mentioned earlier that, yes, even though you had television, not all programs were allowable in your home because if it's news time, you gather them, they watch the news, they learn maybe talking points, pretty like what my father used to do, and then they go back to their homework. But now they have phones, they have tablets, they have whatever it is. Technology, what do you say?
Technology is just a necessary evil. Definitely we need it. Times have changed. I don't envy the young ones in the studio because I don't have a child now. I don't have a child. But what I will add, and I agree with them in total on everything that they have said, you need to play a dominant role in this kind of technological era. And otherwise, the children can just sit in your room and go very wayward. We have heard of people joining terrorist groups because of this kind of readings. They go to certain sites and other things.
Right.
We are in a world that fatherhood is even more crucial than anything. Charity, they say, begins at home, and therefore, that home is managed by a father, and he's a dominant figure there, and therefore there is a need for fathers to be extra careful, not just to live. Look, at a point in time, I bought a young phone for my children because I realized that they didn't need it. They didn't need the other one, smartphones. And so when the children are very young, all they need is that you get them a young phone. When you have to call them, they will respond. If there's some danger, they can call you and other things.
Right.
At certain age, they graduate to a certain level. But you see, if we begin to introduce them to en masse, to everything which is out there, and I'm happy that these days you could still provide them with smartphones that you can monitor it and make sure that there are some programs they cannot access and other things. I think I'm excited by those things. It's a very difficult moment for parents, particularly fathers. At this time, technology has made our work a very difficult one. And I believe that we need to do much more. It's a necessary evil. We need to go in for some skills to be able to monitor. And I like the way, Johnny, you said that you needed to go in for some apps in order to make sure that certain things happen. If you don't do that, you think you are fathering your child and some people somewhere are seated elsewhere and they are also fathering him or her in a different direction. Yeah.
Let me begin this one with you, Jonah. Self-care for fathers. Sometimes you get too engulfed in being a father, providing, protector, mentorshiping, and then you forget about yourself.
Yeah.
Is that a reality on the ground?
That's very true. But I've made it a point that every year, at the beginning of every year, I go for a health check where everything from A to Z is checked. Because as a father, you want to live to take care of your children.
That's right.
So you need to make sure you get everything checked. So when I do all those checks, the results come, they go back to the doctor, he looks at it, okay, you need to do this, you need to take this, you need to this. And then at the end of the day, okay, fine, you do it, and they review again, okay, everything is okay. That's for a year. And then, and you keep going, or else, if you don't take time, there's so much pressure, so much so that, Charlie, especially nowadays, where you carry money and it's like there's a dwarf following and taking out the money because you finish and you can't even account to yourself. You do the calculation and it go land but this one really you know.
What I buy? What
Yes,
I do,
because
what
you. So if you're not careful, you get carried away and you forget yourself. And at the end of the day, your BP will go up, your sugar levels go up. By the time you see your kidneys are damaged and you are a member of the kidney association, and you have to go for dialysis here and there, and that one too is a talk for another day. And so you need to also make. I mean, let's check our BPs. Let's check our sugar levels.
Right.
I mean, and these are apparatus you can easily buy, have them at home. Make sure you check yourself here and there. Visit the doctor when you have to. And let's stop ignoring certain small things. Because nowadays you are there, I just saw him yesterday. He's dead.
Yes.
Yesterday I was with Dr. Botte here. We're talking about prostate cancer. Somebody he knew 45 years.
Yeah.
He hadn't seen the person in about a week or two. Went visiting. He's gone.
Dead. So if you don't take care of yourself, and I mean, everyday pressure, you go see, you will go. And when you go, your children. Next of king. Hey,
King will chop your money.
next of king will be in the club. They'll call Babola. How much is money?
See, Benoni, so self-care. I mean, Jonah has spoken, but again, support system. You know, because to be able to take care of yourself and take care of others, you need to have a support system. We're talking about the women in the mix, but society largely and the larger family, these days people do a lot of nuclear family.
Yeah.
In the past, you could leave your children for your grandmother and go to work when, but these days people like to stick with their, nuclear family rather than the extended family for various reasons. Some say, they are witches. Some say, they won't train them well. They are But that support system is what will give you the opportunity to take care of yourself well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the support system is very, very good because for me, I'll say it has really helped me a lot, and it's a blessing for me because I have to thank my mom so much. She's been there for me all the time because she's the one taking care of my kids now for their mom to work and then for me also to work because she'll wake up in the morning, help them. She talks because my mom growing up, I'll say she was the male figure in our house because she was very strict because from my school days, my mates, everybody knows her.
Right.
Even just last night I was talking to a friend and she was like, hey, your mom, mommy let down with jeans get shit. Because my mom
always on the go.
Always on the go. My mom, if I'm in school, my schools, if I tell you my mom is coming, you know what she's coming to do because she won't talk much.
Right.
Asking woman. And she was also a teacher. So that was a blessing because now
she reset you to factory settings.
If she comes, she's always wearing a cap. And then a shirt. She doesn't wear skirt. No, she wears a shirt and then a slack. And I was like, hey, mommy, if she comes to the school, she's very, very wild.
Right.
So I think it's really helpful because it helps you. It also gives you time for yourself. Because if I come from work and I want to go and play, but I just leave the kids, mom. I have trouble 5 minutes. No, then I'll just leave, and then she'll be there to support if their mom is not around.
Right.
So, and then I think it's very, very good because if you don't have that, you have to fall on the nannies and then maybe an extended family because if you don't really have that relationship like you said earlier on, now we tend to develop a nuclear settings because of the economical situations because you don't want to go that extra because the more you go, the more your pocket goes deeper.
Right.
Because if you go deep, then your pocket has to go deeper. So you just have to keep the circle a bit close to keep your financial status in good shape.
I see. Nana, support system, taking care of yourself as a father.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to lose sight of the fact that we need to be alive for our families and for everybody. So we also need to take very good care of ourselves. In as much as we're responsible towards our families, we also need to appreciate the fact that we need to pamper ourselves. Sometimes we need to take very good care of ourselves. And so for me, I don't joke with the things that make me happy. Once a while, I do the things that I want to do.
Right.
If I feel like eating this today, it doesn't matter where I go.
Right.
Whether it's a 5-star or 10-star or whatever star.
You
I walk in
satisfy
there
your soul.
and do what I have to do. Because I can't be providing and then starve myself or to deny myself of the things.
A friend of mine told me that Charlie Oliakeshi for more than 6 months he could new boxer shorts. He's been buying boxer shorts for the kids.
Yes, and then you forget.
It's very, very true because me myself recently I realized all my boxers I had over years. So recently I just bought some. I bought some for my son. I was working with my big brother and I was like
You go to the shop, you buy for them, but you forget about yourself.
Yeah, so that I'm very conscious about that. When I see something that I think, look, my spirit needs this, I go for it.
Right.
So that that can also urge me on to do more. And then also taking care of the kids and all that.
Okay.
I mean, currently, as I speak, my wife is not around, but I mean, I have very good, family support. My mom, plays a wonderful role.
Right.
And I have nieces who are also helping in the home. So we really need, that network, of socialization, and then we also need good friends. When you have a solid network of friends, in your low moments, they can prep you up and then be a kind of support, because we can't take it all.
No.
We are social beings, and so that aspect of it should always be a part of our thinking, building solid networks, because God does not even bless humans from nowhere. He blesses through men to men. So whatever is going to come to you, it comes to maybe my brother, and then
it comes to you.
So we need to build that social network, where we can always relate, share, our burdens with close friends, and be able to do the things that we have to do. But by all means, we have to stay alive.
By all means, take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Doc, taking care of yourself, family, or if you like, the support system as well. What do you say in wrapping up?
Thanks so much. I'm looking at taking care of yourself in the present and in the future. You are looking at what you may need today. You are looking at taking care of yourself medically and physically and even spiritually. These are necessities. There is a need for you to, beyond the hustle and all the things that you do, remember that you must be alive. It is even like a police officer, you must be alive to save others. And therefore, there is always a need to preserve yourself. And that is very important. As for the support, you can do without it. That support may come from friends, may come from the family, may come from your mother, your father, if you are lucky to have your father alive. There was a time I had my mom with me for almost 5 years. These are very important for your life to continue, and therefore I share in the same view with my colleagues in the studio. But one other important thing is that you must also take care of the future. If it is through savings and some other means, certain valuables that you can have and fall on in terms of difficult moments. It's also a way of taking care. It's not just the immediate needs, it's also the future needs. It is very important. I've always mentioned that as a man, as a father, difficult times may come. And what you fall on. And that's also a very key issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me begin from you. Closing thoughts, Benoni. Cast your mind back to when you first became a father, whether you were ready for it or you were not ready for it. And throw out an advice to new fathers who could be in your situation, briefly, and then we'll wrap up the conversation.
Honestly, when I casting my mind back, I wasn't really ready to become a father, but with the process, I think I enjoyed it, because it was like a roller coaster. You're just going up, down, you just keeping you in suspense. You don't know what to happen next, so just keep asking questions and then going back and forth, going to the for maternity and then all that. So I think it was just a good ride, because I think it's something we all have to go through. But for the new and upcoming fathers, my advice I've been telling my friends: if you want to give birth, just find a good woman. Just look for someone who is very open-minded and someone who has a goal to just achieve. Just don't just give birth with anybody, because at the end of the day, all the problems is going to come to you. If you don't have someone who supports you or helps you mentally, physically, and spiritually, it's just going to be a big burden on you, because at the end of the day, everything goes and comes back to the father. They'll tell you if a lady goes to marriage and then they have debt, they bring it to the husband. But if they have wealth, they just take it to their family. So you have to be very, very strong and then very, very healthy in your way, spiritually and then physically as well. So that's my advice to them.
Great. Jonah, what's your advice? Cast your mind back when you first became a father. and what advice you would give to new fathers or people who are aspiring to be fathers?
To first of all be a new father, like Benoni said, you must make sure the mother is correct. When I say correct, Charlie, look, last, it's not. Sorry, but it's not a doona. Last, it was upstairs.
It will fade out.
Yes,
but the brain,
yes,
if it's good,
yes,
will stay.
Because at the end of the day, the physical attraction of the mother, when you get frustrated because of kind of things she does or decisions she takes, you forget how she looks.
Right.
So please make sure that you are marrying somebody or you are dating somebody who is kind, who is selfless, who is ready to go the extra mile for you and your child or the children. Otherwise, you are doomed. And I must say that over the years, my wife has done well.
Right.
And I must commend her for it.
Right. And so, even if the person cannot cook, but she has all the qualities you mentioned, you should still go ahead.
No, you see, you first of all, you must be able to cook.
Okay.
It's all part of it.
Okay.
It's not.
And to cook as well.
No, to cook.
Yes.
No. I mean, at the end of the day, cooking day inside, and nowadays we can all cook, and you can learn.
Not everybody.
I mean,
some people cook pegative.
So I know how to cook.
Yes.
So of course.
So speak for yourself. I can speak. Nana can speak, but don't generalize it. Some people cook pegative. Somebody started cooking boiled rice. It was making plain rice. We ended up with rice water. We pretended nothing had happened.
You eat it like that.
I mean, cooking is important, but I mean, when it comes to parenting, Charlie, you for open your eye.
Right. That's
open your eye. That's why
you have to hunt well.
Yes. Okay. Because I've seen videos of lady where they will see some fine boy and you see some lady who you assume is not as fine. But at the end of the day, Charlie.
You don't
Charlie,
know.
If they show you pepper,
what she's bringing to the table,
you go see. So
you for a woman for be correct.
Yeah, for be correct.
What do you say?
Yeah, I think it was exciting, becoming a father. Really, really exciting because at a point in time, as you grow, these are not things that you really think about. You go on, and then at a point you feel like, you need to settle down, and then who are you going to settle down with? And then the kids start coming. So it's joy, but at the same time very, very challenging.
Right.
So you need to be careful who you settle down with, especially what are their belief systems? What do they believe in? Are they people who have a strong faith in the Lord? Is this somebody who can stand shoulder to shoulder with you in times of difficulties, and then also maybe you need to take a look at the background. Where is she coming from?
Right.
What kind of home? How does the mother relate to the father? These will give you signs of the kind of woman, you're going to stay with for the rest of your life.
Right.
Rest of your life, because you did not go into this journey to turn back at a point. And that's one thing I always tell my wife, that look here, we are in this together till death do us part. And so
you added till death do us part.
Yes.
The last time a politician said we are in this together, we were never in anything together.
So the challenges will come, whatever, but fix your mind on it that we need to deal with our challenges and every situation that comes, and then we continue the journey until a time that we'll not be seeing each other again.
Great. Doc, you have the final word on this one. What do you say?
The issue is about taking responsibility as a father once you are able to do it.
Right.
Do it. So that when you are not able, for one reason or the other, you will still be appreciated. There are fathers who are able and they will not give. They will not take responsibility. And therefore, they have already created a mindset in the family, on the minds of the family. And so, whether good times or bad times, you will not be appreciated. And the children will grow trying to see whether they love their father or not love their father. I can say with my chest out that my children love me, or my children love me, because they know what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do and what I will not compromise. And they know their father has certain principles. This is a no-go area. These are areas that he's able to deal with, and he will deal with it with all his heart. So take responsibility when you are able, and always do your best for your children. And when at a point in time you are not able to do it, because I've always emphasized one thing, there will be difficult moments, there will be difficult times. When you are not able to do it, your wife will appreciate it, and you will take full responsibility. Your children will appreciate you the more. Even they will be the support. They will give you that social support that you need when there are hard times. Okay. Fatherhood is not a plaything. My first child, I was not ready. But I took responsibility. I took very crucial decisions that ended with my joining the police service, not because I wanted to be a police officer, but because then I had a child early, and therefore I realized that no, I needed to work to take care of the child.
Right.
So you must take responsibility from the beginning. And that child, you need to know who he is today. But that's not a subject for another day.
I hear you, sir. Thank you very much. And happy Father's Day to you, ACP retired Dr. Benjamin Agojo. And it's always a pleasure speaking to you. And today, we've seen the different side of you. Thank you so much.
Welcome, and thanks to all my colleagues over there. I appreciate their points that they've made and all the issues they've raised.
Great. Nana, what you say?
Yeah, I want to wish some special people.
Right. Happy Father's Day to all of you, though.
Yes.
Nana Oseda is the founding president of the Green Republic. Jonathan Syme is a banker. And Benoni Benjamin Lamte is the CEO of Gadget Solutions. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen, indeed, for your time. So, happy Father's Day to all of you. You have wishes?
Happy
Quickly.
Father's Day to you, too.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to Mr. Baisose Kufuor, the MD of Ghana Post, a great brother and friend, to Dr. Richard Tuahine, a brother, and to my dad. I've wished him already, to my pastors, Archbishop Prince Hampel, and then Reverend Dr. Ofusu Asante of Ebenezer Baptist Church, and to all the men fellowship guys and everybody. To all my brothers, happy Father's
Day.
Thank you,
Johnny.
Happy Father's Day to Mr. Daniel Syme, my dad.
Yeah, the old boy.
Yeah, the old boy. He's been a great man. He's done well. He's done well. Happy Father's Day to him. Happy Father's Day to the MD for ADB, Mr. Alhaji Yakubu Tali.
Right.
Happy Father's Day to Mr. Benjamin Kofi, to Mr. Kojo Fosisian, and to all my great fathers out there.
Right.
Thank you.
Benoni?
Happy Father's Day to Mr. Jacob Awete of Awakon, and happy Father's Day to my big brother. He will become a father soon, Mr. Yure Nathaniel Asante.
Okay.
And happy Father's Day to Mr. Sylvester Boedi.
Right.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I can't mention names because I'll be in trouble, but happy Father's Day to every father out there. We'll see you. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Next, we'll spend some time with Pediasi Valley Resort. They have a holiday package coming for you. When I say holiday package, we're not waiting for holiday package long ago. I'm talking about something happening just this Sunday, Father's Day. They have a special package for you. We'll talk about it in a bit. Stay with us here on Sunrise and Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. We'll also bring you some updates, live updates from the Marina Mall Airport City in Accra, where the baby fair is holding in a bit. The 3FM baby fair is going to be launched there in a bit, but those will be right after these messages.
Going up? Yes, after you.